everybody, this is Dawn Block here with Century 21 First Class Homes, and I'm here with another Q&A. I have a special guest here that I will be introducing shortly. A couple things before we start. I just want to thank everybody for participating in sending me your questions. I do have our special guest is an appraiser. So we'll be talking to somebody in the field of the appraiser field, and she has a lot of good input. I think it's going to be a great information for you. Hi, Jen. I'm glad to see you're on. I took your suggestion on having an appraiser come out. So, hi. So I just wanted to take a moment to do a little bit, just kind of let you know that. If you're out there and you're listening, if you can send me a like, put thumbs up, let me know that you're listening. I'd appreciate that. If you do have any questions for the appraiser that maybe we have not brought up on our question and answer sheet, please don't hesitate to add them in the comments. We'll be sure to get them answered for you, and we'll respond back. Also, I will make sure that if you don't want to put it in the comments, but you want to private message me, please do. I will work on getting those answers for you and responding back to you in private messenger. So again, thank you everybody for participating with the Q&A, giving me some questions. They're all good questions. So before I bring my special guest on, we have the appraiser. She is an appraiser that will be coming and talking to us. And generally, I like to kind of set the stage. Now, the last time we had the home inspector that came out and talked about the home inspection and things like that. And then we had the attorney come out and talk about all the, some legal questions that you had regarding the contract, which was all good. So this part of where the appraiser comes into play is generally after the attorney review period has been done and everybody has agreed on any revisions that they want to make on the contract between the attorneys, and also when the home inspection issues have been brought up and taken care of, and we've all come to an agreement on how that's going to be handled. At that point, generally what will happen is that buyer will call their lender and say, okay, I'm ready to order the appraisal. Let's get the appraisal ordered so we can get going with the process of my mortgage. So at that point, they'll call their lender. Their lender then will order the appraiser. So it's the buyer's lender that orders the appraiser to have the appraiser come to the home. The appraiser will call up the selling office or the listing office and let the listing agent know to set up a time for them to look at the property. So they'll go in there, they're going to view the property, they're going to take measurements, they're going to take pictures, and then with all that information, they're going to formulate a report, the appraisal report, that will then be given to their lender. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to introduce to you the appraiser I have. Her name is Gina Reynolds. She is with GR Accurate Appraisals. Gina, why don't you come on in?
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming
Thank you
on
for having
Facebook
me. Hi,
Live.
everybody.
And again, what I would like you to do is just introduce yourself. Let us know a little bit about you, your background, name of your company, the years that you've been in business, and how many people work under you, and how can everybody contact you?
Okay. My name's Gina Reynolds. I'm an independent real estate appraiser in Schaumburg. My company is GR Accurate Appraisals. You can reach me at gina.reynolds@comcast.net or 708-699-9599. I've been appraising since 2004 and in my own company since 2007.
All right,
I
great.
have one employee.
Oh, awesome. Does she do all your paperwork and stuff like that?
She does.
Awesome. So let's start with a couple of questions. This first question, I'll be honest, it was my son's question. And he basically was asking, can an appraiser appraise their own property?
No. I mean, technically, if I'm curious of what my value is, yes, I can. I can't go anywhere. An appraisal is an unbiased opinion, And obviously, if I was looking at my own house, I would be biased.
I was like, just before we go to the next question, I had pulled up a picture, which I thought was kind of interesting. When he made that statement, I'm like, oh, this is so. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's basically a reliable eye on your house as it's seen by, and then if you look at it, I don't know if you can see it. It says, the way you see your home is basically larger than what your lender would see your home. Again, that would be like because you have so many memories and the things that you've done to your house. Also, the lender then sees it as just, an average home, nothing palatial, just an average house. Obviously, the buyer sees it as nothing but a little Quonset hut. And then your appraiser, it's a little extreme, but if you see this appraisal picture, it's not that bad, but it's showing the house has collapsed, and that's the way that the appraiser sees it. But this is the bottom one down here is your assessor, your tax assessor, which is so true if you look at it. They always see, they'll see it like a mansion. You could be the smallest house out there, but those tax assessors see it as a mansion so that they can get you with all the taxes that they can. So I just thought that was kind of an interesting diagram that I wanted to kind of show because it kind of, it does. You do.
Definitely.
You live in your home. You look at it as it's bigger. To you, it means it's worth a lot more than what maybe somebody would want to spend on it. So, but with that said, we're going to go to the next question. So this question actually was from a real estate agent who is located, this agent is located in another state. Her question is this. She goes, is there any difference in the valuations for an appraisal requested for a refinance or home equity loan versus for a purchase loan? She said, in quote, she goes, some feel that a refinance numbers, when you look at the numbers for a refi, the appraiser might be a little bit more generous on the price. What is your thoughts on that? Or
I could see how that people would think that. The two differences in a refinance and a purchase appraisal are the purchase one, we are supplied a copy of the contract. So that does give us one more piece of information at what a typical buyer would pay, because obviously a typical buyer is putting that contract out. So they really should be the same. What an appraisal is current market value based on comparable sales. So, I could see a lot of appraisers might see the contract price and then just try to keep it at the contract price or maybe a little bit over the contract price.
Okay.
Where it can be higher, it can be lower, which no one likes to hear.
So how far back do you go on, how many months back do you go on your appraisals for comparables on, let's say, sold comps?
Well, the banks and underwriters like 6 months. They would love 3 months if we could do it. But I would go, if I have to, 12 months. I've gone as far as 24 if it was some type of unique property.
Okay. So are you saying, so then really there is no, they may go a little bit higher on an equity line of credit versus, or you feel
I think that it might seem higher because with the contract price, even though we don't use that as a baseline, we're aware of it. So with the refi, there's nothing there. The lenders used to be able to give an estimate of value. This was prior to 2008, where I think that pushed a lot of values, and then we had this thing called the housing bubble.
Right.
So now you're based on a refi on just comparable sales. So it may seem higher, but it really, they should all be the same. If I'm doing an appraisal on a purchase or a refi,
they're all the same comps, really.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is always a good question. What are the differences between an FHA appraisal and a conventional appraisal? So if you can kind of explain that a little bit.
FHA mortgages are insured by FHA, so they really want to be sure of three things, the three S's: safety, security, and soundness. Safety, what we typically look for is anything that really is going to jump out as a safety issue. Missing handrails, broken windows, doors that don't shut. The biggest one we deal with is chipping and peeling paint on homes prior to 1978. And that's a big one because of lead. So the lender will require you to scrape it, paint it, and remove all the paint chips from the floor. I'll do a lot where there's still paint chips all over the floor. That needs to be gone.
Okay. Well, how about like ripped screens and broken glass, like broken windows or a cracked window?
Broken glass is safety because you could
Okay.
get cut. A screen, that's kind of cosmetic. A small crack in the wall, cosmetic.
Okay.
Carpet with a little tear in it. It's a tripping hazard, but it's still basically cosmetic.
So most of them, so also like, do they look in the kitchen for GFI outlets?
GFI in the kitchen and in the bathroom. And then we do look in the attic.
For that.
Yeah,
Okay.
proper ventilation and to see if there's any leaks, signs of leaks, mold. Same with the crawl space. So
Now, I don't want you to get confused with just because if it was an FHA appraisal, they're looking at those safety items. Don't get that confused with a home inspection. And I think
Right.
you would agree, Gina.
Yes, yeah.
You need to have a home inspection. That appraisal is looking at safety. It's not looking at the home's condition.
yeah,
of the house.
I don't know if the furnace is installed right and working right and all the electric is done the way it needs to be done. So you need a home inspection.
So there was a question. Denise is on, and she said, by the way, hi Denise. She says, I've heard a light pole change. So it sounds like she might have heard that they brought something up about the light pole change. Really?
that seems to be more city code. I know there's a lot of
Like
cities.
City of Chicago or just per the
certain,
city?
Yeah,
Oh,
certain
okay.
cities will not allow the pole chains anymore.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay, so what do they want? Do they want to...
a switch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? So you'd have to get that all rewired.
Yeah, but so far that we're okay with that still.
Okay, all right. But keep in mind and just remember, it's there's two differences. This is for safety and the way, and when they're doing an FHA appraisal, they're pulling up the issues because of safety. The home inspection still should be done. I highly recommend it because as a buyer, you need to know the condition of the home that you're taking it in and if there's any other issues that maybe the appraiser doesn't see, and that inspector's going to do a full-blown inspection for you. So those are definitely two things. So just because you're getting an FHA appraisal, still do the home inspection. You can't stress that enough.
Then the other two for FHA, the two S's, are soundness, which is structure. So if we note any huge crack in the basement foundation or along the side of the sidewalk, something like that, or a deck that might be wobbly or unstable,
Okay.
we would.
Now I have a question for you. Now that you brought that up, I had one where it was nothing with the house. It was with the shed on the outside. That the bricks, they had these bricks, paver bricks, and they were a little bit crooked, and they wanted them relayed. Is that Is that kind of off the?
I mean, a shed is still on the property, so that is a good point because if there's peeling paint on a shed
Yeah, they did have
or a
to
roof,
yes.
that needs to be repaired
Yeah,
also.
they had to
so
do that too.
I would have to see the bricks. Like
Right,
if they're just wobbly,
Well, it was kind of, they were like all different ways.
yeah,
So,
then that is
they
a
had to
tripping
relay it.
hazard, so
Okay.
it probably would be more.
So then it was legit, so they
Yes.
had to take care of it. So what happened? So you, on an FHA, do you put together is it a report that's given to?
Yeah, it's actually just in the appraisal report.
Oh,
So
okay, all right.
there was some commentary in there about what we've done as FHA and what's checked. And then it's ultimately up to the lender and the underwriter anyways. I'm not the one saying yes or no. It can be
So the lender
loaned
has
on.
to make
The
that
lender
decision.
has the decision. All we're doing is observing, analyzing, and reporting what we see. We're not the FHA police. I'm just letting FHA know
That's what you
what is
observe.
there. Yeah.
Okay. Denise says, do appraisers only do appraisers only appraise it to sale price? If it's worth $20,000 more, do you tell them that?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a question in here.
Well, I think that's what we started with. The
Yeah.
refinance and purchase.
No, okay.
appraisals.
Yeah, okay, yes.
It really shouldn't be. And I've done appraisals where I won't look at the sales contract until after I've done my grid and came up with my value. And sometimes I'm over, sometimes I'm under. So if I'm appraising a house and the contract price is $290 and my value is coming up at $310, my value is $310. It's not what the contract price is.
Okay. Well, I hope that helped you out to explain that for you, Denise.
The third, I'm not finished.
Yes, there's a third
the
one.
The third S for FHA is security, and that one gets confusing because a lot of people think it is like, do the doors shut, do the windows shut. That's more if FHA can secure that for collateral. So they're worried more about marketability there. So is it near a landfill, hazardous waste?
So location
Okay. Type stuff. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that the loan won't go through, but the appraiser should find another comparable that has that same thing. So if I'm backing up to a railroad track, I need to try to find another one that's backing up to that railroad track.
Oh, okay. All right. Here's a good question. How do I get ready for the appraiser?
Well, you bake us cookies.
Yeah.
And no.
A nice bottle of wine sitting there.
Exactly. Really, just straighten up your house a little bit. We don't judge. I don't go in there looking to see that your bathtub is cleaned. But just imagine you're having someone over. So the less junk and dirty dishes around, the better. And also, we're taking interior pictures. So, you know that the lender is going to see the pictures. They're really the only ones that look at it. But so if you just straighten up a little bit, that's always nice. If you make sure we can get all the way around the house, if there's any gates that are locked, have them unlocked. And then you can always have a list of any updates that you've done to show us.
And that's something that I did mention. I always, when I meet with my appraisers, because generally the appraiser will contact the listing agent. And what I do is I'll put together a packet, which would be a list of all the improvements and when they were done, when the seller did those improvements. I'll also put together some comparables, most recent comparable solds, and a couple of active solds, just so you can see what the competition is out there. Plus, I put together a couple of graphs to kind of, what I want to do is I want to kind of let the appraiser know that I've done my homework, that, I'm pricing it. I've used different ways to look at the pricing of a home and then provide it. Now, I know some appraisers will be like, no, I'm not going to use any of that information, but most of them are pretty kind and take the information.
There was a myth that real estate agents couldn't talk with appraisers. So there was a short period of time where it was like people were afraid, oh, can you look at this? I'm like,
no,
but
can't.
You can talk to the agent. You can hand the agent things that you think are relevant. Doesn't necessarily mean it will be used, but you can never have too much information.
Exactly. That's why I do it. So, which home renovations add the most value to your home or to the appraisal?
This one always kind of makes people crazy because I'll say there's really nothing. If you're selling a house, it's different, but if you want it to be sort of neutral, but a house is so hard to explain.
Well, see, what I always thought, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I always say kitchen and bathrooms add value to a home when they're remodeled or they're updated. So those would be like two of the things that I would think that definitely if you do a kitchen, you're talking granite countertops,
right,
new appliances, maybe all new cabinets and things like that. That's a major renovation too. So that I would think that would add a lot of value.
It adds marketability, but if you're looking at it to sell the house and say you're going to put $50,000 in that kitchen, you're not going to get it back dollar for dollar. So say you put in $50,000 for the kitchen, you're going to be selling the house. You might get, I don't want to use an actual percentage, but let's just say you get 50% return on it. So you spent $50,000, but you're only going to make $25,000. So you're really in the long run out the money.
Do you how should I say this? Do you have formulas that you use for? There's no formula. There's
no magic list, but what we'll do, ideally what you want to do as an appraiser is compare apples to apples. So I'm not saying that having an updated kitchen and bathroom don't do it.
Yeah.
Because of course, then I'm going to compare to houses that have updated kitchens and bathrooms. So, you know, it's not like I'm saying none of that stuff matters, because it does matter. But if you're just looking to sell quick, you know, like, oh, I'm going to put it on the market, what can I do to make it appraise higher? Just throwing in a new bathroom or a new kitchen isn't really going to do it, because you'll most likely spend more to fix it than you will get back.
So yeah, well, and I can see it. I mean, I did a what was a return on investment prompt, and it said you'll get 70. Well, and again, I know you got to watch what you say, but the information was from the NAR, and they said that you can get 70% return on your investment for an updated kitchen. And I'm like, well, okay, so what does that consist of? Well, updating your kitchen wasn't like a total remodel. They just kind of specifically said just an update. So I would think that like updating your appliances, you know, granite countertops, all that I think helps. And I think too, then you start with the staging, because you want to, when you're selling your home, you want to appeal to that buyer any way, shape, or form that you can to bring them in your home. And all buyers are going to look at homes that are more updated than other homes, unless they're wanting to put a little bit of work into it. So, I mean, it's such a, I know what you're saying. You have to watch what you say, because you don't want to get yourself in trouble saying that there's a certain dollar amount. But if you had a updated house or updated kitchen versus a non-updated kitchen, and you saw that there was a difference in pricing, is that where you would kind of get your values of what it would cost? That's
where, you know, you try to put in more sales than you need. And a lot of times on the appraisal report, you won't see every sale that was considered. You know, there have been times I've had 15 or 16 comparable sales. Then I it's called working the grid, and, you know, come up with my adjustments and, you know, different other match pair sales. So it's a scientific method, I guess.
Yeah.
There's a lot of methods we use to come up with what we have. So there's no magic list that says a bathroom is worth $5,000 or $10,000.
That's interesting. How much does your appraisal, or does a appraisal cost? So, I mean, do you know?
That can be a touchy situation, just because, you know, I can't say what
other people would
should
charge
be.
For.
Yeah. I would say in this market, the typical fee, like if I'm going to do a private appraisal for someone for like a pre-listing or divorce or an estate thing, it's between $350 and $400.
Okay.
A lot of people will complain. They're like, well, I was charged $800 for my appraisal. A lot of people are not aware that there's these appraisal management companies that came in as a buffer between the lender and the appraiser, because the lenders used to strong arm appraisers into overvaluing, and that created a problem in 2008. So there's these appraisal management companies that now take a fee for handing out appraisals. So
they
may
like
charge
scheduling.
They don't even schedule. They get the orders. It's like, I mean, they just manage it. So like a large bank may contact an appraisal management company and say, we need this house appraised. Well, the appraisal management companies now have become sort of greedy in my eyes, where they're trying to take the same amount we get, if not more, just for giving the order out. So I will say in Illinois, we are required to say what the appraisal costs. So if you're curious, you can always read through your report. I know there's a lot of stuff in there, but read it and it will say what that appraiser made. So when that person's coming to the door and you think they're getting $700, they're probably not.
Okay, all right. Do the appraisers look at the same things that a home inspector does? I think we
kind of touched on that.
Yeah.
No.
So, but again, I can't stress enough that doing a home inspection, whether you're a first-time home buyer or a veteran home buyer, you need to do that. I mean, a lot of people, if I have buyers that decide that they don't want to do a home inspection, I always have them sign a waiver, because I always stress the fact of having a home inspection, because you don't know what you'll find in one houses versus another, and that way you'll get a report on the home. So I can't say enough about that. Question from an agent I have here. Why can't the appraiser appraise a house higher than the most recent highest sale/comp?
We discussed this one. I think we were unclear on exactly what was being asked, but I think what they're asking is if I'm doing an appraisal in a subdivision and the most recent, or like the highest sale in that subdivision was $390 and the contract price is $395. Maybe it's an increasing market. Why can't I say that the house is $395? That's kind of a not a true statement. The lenders like everything to be in a nice package, so they call it bracketing. So they would like us to have a sale that is at least $395. So in that type of case, you could look, the appraiser could look further out. If I saw that and I thought that the value was there, the market's increasing, there's just no sales that support it, but I'm confident that it is worth $395, I would look further out, maybe look at another subdivision for the same type of house, that type of thing, and just put that in somewhere as like comparable 4 or 5.
Do you, what I was going to ask, do you, like, when you pull up your comps, do you generally knock out the highest and the lowest and kind of have, do they do that?
No.
No?
Yeah, no.
They look at all of them?
Yeah, because it's, again, you have to analyze everything. The highest one could be the best comp.
Okay.
The lowest one could be the best comp. So
so you don't do that.
Yeah.
What remodeling work being done on a home gives the most return on your investment?
I think we kind of covered that already.
So
but it's
for appealing to a buyer, but I mean, I wonder. I'm going to go back and ask this again because I think just to clarify. So you have to say remodeling a kitchen or a bathroom, I think, should give you a return on investment.
It does.
But depending upon what other comparables are in the area.
Yes.
So
very rarely does it give you
the
equal
100%.
or more return. So in the long run, if you're doing it just to sell the house, you're sort of
You're not going to get
money.
100% or over. You're going to get probably whatever the money you put in, you may get 75 or 80%.
And that's like, I'm not saying don't update. Of course, it's helpful because any of the comparables that are on a higher price range are probably updated. So again, that goes to comparing apples to apples. Okay. So I would be looking for houses that have updated kitchens. So that's where it gets hard to say. It doesn't.
I mean, I don't, because I've never seen a comparable that has an updated kitchen or bath be the lesser of anything. So
exactly.
It does do something.
Yes.
And so it does add value. And I have to, because you're looking at all the comparables out there. The lower ones are always, anything that's not updated is going to be on the lower end of the spectrum.
Right.
So I wouldn't say don't do it. I think what it's going to do is I think it's going to make the home more appealing to a buyer to come in, and that's where, for us as realtors, I mean, that's going to help us get our listing sold.
Yeah.
So I know, and you're not going to agree with this, but I know that staging, that's why I feel that staging helps out so much, because you're going in there, taking care of a home, updating it, and making it more appealing for a number of buyers out there, and also being competitively priced can help with the value or what you get from a buyer when he wants to buy the house.
Yes. I wouldn't say that it helps with the value, but I see your point. It helps with the marketability, right, or the appeal.
The appeal.
Yes. And I do agree with that.
Yeah.
So if I'll walk into a house that's staged and I can usually tell, but when an appraiser walks in, we look at it as empty. So it might have this gorgeous dining room set with this beautiful lamp and artwork. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at the walls, the floor,
the
ceiling.
Updated kitchen?
Yes.
The bathrooms?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, Jen's got a question here before we go to the next one. She says, if I'm buying a house and I have questions about the appraisal, can I call the appraiser to ask? Ooh, there's more to that question, and I'm going to pop it out.
I think I can sense where she's going with it. So if you get an appraisal and you find there's something wrong on it, because we are human, we can make a mistake, or you have a question about anything, if it's for a purchase ordered from a lender, you cannot call me or the appraiser, which I know seems odd because you've paid for it and it's your house and it's your appraisal, but the lender is the client. So you would have to go to the lender and ask them to contact us. And then we can communicate through that.
Or you could, if you feel that, you could maybe talk to your agent, call your agent who's representing you, and see if you talk, and then maybe have your agent talk to the lender and see if you feel that it needs to be disputed for some reason. But you better make sure that you have comparables to back that up.
Right.
You know, if you're going to dispute.
Yeah, like if you're going to do an appeal, because that happens, and you know it happens. Everyone's human.
Sometimes
so.
isn't it the underwriters got the last say in that?
Yeah.
So even if
underwriter if they want to send it to the appraiser for an appeal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can give you the information to appeal it, but bottom line, it's going to be that underwriter that makes that bottom line decision if he's going to let it pass or not let it pass.
Right.
So, if you are doing an appraisal in a certain area, but there are no comparables available, where would you go to get comparables for the appraisal?
Different markets, like right in this area, you usually wouldn't have a problem. There's enough inventory or enough closed sales. Maybe more rural or unique properties. I've gone as far as 2 years back, or 5 or 6 miles out. So you just want to try to find the same type of neighborhood. So if you're doing something like a farmhouse in West Chicago on 1 or 2 acres and there's only 1 or 2 sales there, you start by widening your search and just looking for similar. So you might start like 2 or 3 miles, and then you might add on a couple more, go 5-10 miles. Yeah, and that will vary for appraisers. Like I would look first within like 3 or 4 miles, 2 years back, where someone might go 10 miles out 1 year back. You know,
so it depends on the appraiser.
Yeah, it really does.
Okay. What dollar amount do you give for bathrooms? So if a house has 3.5 baths versus a home that has got the 4 bedrooms and it only has 2.5 baths, how much are you going to give? Do you give, and also for finished basements versus unfinished basements, what dollar amount do you give? And if a home has 3 versus 4, like if you're looking in an area and there's comparables of 3-bedroom homes, but yours has that 4th bedroom, what would you give?
Well, let me get out my adjustment sheet.
Yeah, right.
No, there is no magic number. There's no set number. I think that's the hardest thing for people to understand, because it's assignment by assignment based. So again, we have to analyze everything that we're looking at. So sometimes it might make a big difference, and sometimes it will make a little difference.
So what you're saying, but okay, now I'm thinking this through. But if a home has, let's say you're looking at 3 bedrooms and they're all a certain square footage, and this home has a 4th bedroom, but with that 4th bedroom, it's a little bit bigger of a home, you have to give it value.
Then that's in the square footage. Okay. So that's where we look at differently. So if I adjusted for square footage and for bedroom count, then I'm making 2 adjustments for one thing.
So if it's all the same, but you have 3 bedrooms up and 1 bedroom in the basement, would you give
basements, that's a whole nother that's a whole nother conversation. Basements are in a total separate area of the grid. So, and we get this a lot. Like, say I'll do a ranch house that's 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom upstairs,
right.
And in the basement there's a family room, a bedroom, and a bathroom. That house is still going to be a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom house.
Really?
And then
even though they have a bed.
Yeah. The next line on the grid says basement area. So it may be valued just the same as upstairs, but it's in a separate spot. So even when I'm explaining the house, I will say it's a 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom house. And if you read the whole report, then you'll see that it says additional features include a fully finished basement that has a family room.
But that has to add value.
It does. But again, then we look at comparable sales. So I would try to find another ranch house that had a bedroom and a bathroom in the basement.
So are you saying that if there's a 1.5 bath versus a 2 bath, that if everything's selling the same, you're probably not going to get that value for that half bath more.
Yeah, so what we'll do is like a matched pair sales analysis, it's called. And that can be tricky too because you're trying to find two similar houses, but one will have 1 bathroom and one will have 1.5 bathrooms, and see where the difference is. And that's where you come up with that adjustment. You can't always find that, so then you might have to go look older sales, like you can do historical matched pairs. Then again, putting everything in the grid and working with a large sample of sales.
Okay.
Then there's formulas we use. So that's where, like,
Yeah,
it sounds like I'm really a very scientific mathematician,
Yeah.
but there's formulas we use to narrow down what that adjustment is coming out to.
So, so really, when you're looking at all the comparables out there, it really kind of, it doesn't, like, there's no black and white.
No.
You're not going to get $5,000 for a bedroom. You're not going to, because I would always think, oh, I had $15,000 for a basement. Or it's got to be $20,000 if you got a bathroom in the basement.
Yeah.
So you're saying that all goes in it's all trashed.
Yeah.
And it basically is, but it would be, you'd have to pull the comparables in an area that have a bathroom in the basement,
Right.
and get the true value of it to really get what
Right.
the price is. So
Because if that person on that comp was willing to pay X amount and it's got the same thing, so that's what our goal as an appraiser is to try to find as many true comparable sales as we can. So some markets it's easy, some it's not.
And an appraisal is only good at the time that you do the appraisal.
Yeah, the day.
The day.
The day.
So if this appraisal was done today, 2 months down the road, it really doesn't apply. You can't. Because there's so many people that say, well, this same year or beginning of the year, I had a refinance and the house appraised out at this price. Well, now that we're in a slower time of market, that can change the whole picture.
And it can go either way. I mean, you could have, that's what I'll tell people, like, you could have someone sell their house across the street and 3 days after you had an appraisal and it sold for more. So then it's worth more. It could have sold for less,
So a lot of factors come into play. So the time of year that they're selling the home, would you take that into consideration
Yeah,
also?
we do. Yeah, how long things are on the market.
Right. But I mean, even like if you sold more in like supply and demand.
Yeah.
So like, let's say the beginning of the year you have, in the beginning of January off the winter, you have less supply out there. So there's more of a demand. So that would drive the prices up.
As long as the comps are there to support it. So prices can be driven up, but it doesn't necessarily mean values are going up. So again, it's...
Well, how about a house with multiple offers? Like, let's say I have a listing. I had multiple offers on it, which did drive the price up. That has to come into account.
That's also another tough one because it drives the price up, but then that's sort of a sign of duress. It's opposite of bad duress because there's people fighting for it. So it's not naturally going up. It's people... But
if you have evidence that shows that the months of supply out there are down, and there are just and that's why it was in a multiple offer situation, that would drive the price up.
It will drive the price up, and it will.
But how much?
Exactly, and the comps we're using aren't going to have that yet.
Okay.
So we're going.
Oh yeah, because they were before that all happened. But you got to take that into account.
But it does happen, and if there's nothing there to support it, someone's overpaying for it. And there are plenty of people that will overpay for a house. Yeah. If you love something, you'll pay for it. I mean, I never think it's bad. I mean,
no, it's good for the market, and that's what we hope for.
And it will help raise the value.
The other owners in the area want to see that.
The next person will love it.
Yes,
so.
and people in the area living in the neighborhood will be like, great, look at our values,
right.
So, but you know what? We've ran out. I don't know if there's any other questions out there. I think we've pretty much answered everything on the sheet. I'm hoping that if you're out there and you've seen this, let me know what your thoughts are with these Q&As that I do live on Facebook. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you find them helpful. I think I've learned a lot tonight. So regarding values, I'm looking at an appraisal in a whole different light. Yes, thank you, and thank you, Gina, for coming and talking.
Yeah,
talking
and
with us
anyone,
all.
if anyone has any questions,
I was gonna
appraisal
say.
questions, you can contact me. Again, it's gina.reynolds@comcast.net or 708-699-9599.
And I just want to let everyone know that I will be downloading this Facebook Live Q&A. I will be putting it on my business page on Facebook. That's Dawn Block Realtor. I will also have a link so you can view this on LinkedIn. I'll have it on YouTube, so you can look at the YouTube channel. And I will be uploading it on my website underneath the tab videos. So you can go back, if you want to see some of the other videos that I've done, just go to dawnblockhomes.com. That's my website. And you can hit the tab where it says videos, and you can view all of the videos that I've done. I did some in 2017, and the most recent ones that I've done were with the stager, the home inspector, and the attorney. And now I've got Gina. We'll make sure all of these are up online for people to view. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me a call. It's 847-630-2121. Any more questions regarding the appraisals or anything real estate related, please put down. I'm going to ask, I'm probably going to put another out there is, what are people looking for? What information are you looking for as far as getting any questions answered for you? I'd love to hear some ideas. Jen was so gracious to mention about the appraiser, and also,
Thank you, Jen.
yes, and also give me Gina's name so that we can sit down and have this talk. And again, I hope you found that helpful. So be sure to make sure that you comment below if you did. I'm looking at this. I'm your resource for real estate, so I'm hoping that these videos are helpful. Any comments you can make, give me some feedback. I'd appreciate it. I'm always interested to hear feedback. And then I guess we'll set up something next month, which is Christmas, but that's okay. I'm going to find time to sit down and do another one. I don't know, maybe safety in the home while the Christmas season is, so we don't burn down our houses. I don't know. We'll think of something. But if you have any ideas, please put in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Again, this is Dawn Black with Century 21 First Class Homes. Thank you again for joining us with this Q&A, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the month of December. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.